Hey everyone, welcome to Gary today. Today I'm doing a live interview with founder and CEO of DericSells Digital Live Marketing and Solutions. So I'm gonna give Mr. Derek a second here.
A little better lighting. No. How you doing, man? How you doing? Thanks for having
Um,
me, brother.
how are you?
I can't complain. I'm on location with one of my clients now, actually.
Nice, nice. Well, Mr. Derek, if you would please give our audience, an introduction about what you do in your business.
Absolutely. I own a digital marketing agency. So we help small to mid-sized companies increase their sales and brand themselves through digital advertising. That's the short and sweet of it. Everything from logo creation to SEO, PPC, social media advertising, social media management, pretty much anything and everything online. We take care of for you.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Um, since I know you, you have been a very ambitious young man. We used to sell cars together for those of you who don't know. Um, so let me ask you this: what's your background and what did you do? Like, what's your past experiences?
Absolutely. Shoot, my background, we started, I started selling, Jesus, for as long as I can remember, way back in the day. But most recently, I was working with, I was a vet, I'm a veteran, sorry, Air Force, 4 years as a medic out there, firefighter after that. And selling in all different capacities since then, from cell phones to motorcycle equipment to car sales, and of course now with my company, I sell digital marketing services.
Okay, great, great, great. Um, why why did you start your own services such as the digital marketing, and what kind of value can you bring in your services?
All right. So where did I start my digital marketing agency and what value do my services bring? When I was younger, I was always taught to kind of have to own your own, right? We back when I was in high school, we had started our own company called Tinco LLC, where we manage concession stands for the city of Villa Rica and Carroll County. So it was bred into me earlier by some very influential people to do that, to own, right? So it's just always been in me to want to own my stuff. So again, we right now we own a digital marketing agency. The reason why I started that, um, I saw a need out here, on the Gulf Coast specifically, and actually nationally, to where there's not proper digital representation for these businesses. It's a lot of generic stuff out there. So I know that with what I've done for myself, both with selling cars and the businesses I worked with in the past, I know that it would be something that businesses could use, use to get more customers in the door. Plus, and this is the main value that I bring to the table. It takes a lot of time. It takes up a huge amount of time, doing social media, advertising, and, just having a consistent presence on these different platforms. It takes a lot of time. So we save you time. That's the main thing we do. We save you the time of having to learn how to operate these different social platforms and also how to get your voice out there the right way with the different demographics. We take the time to learn how that stuff works and learn how to speak to these different individuals so that you don't have to. So, a lot of these businesses can get back to what matters, which is making sales, right? So,
Nice, nice, nice. Definitely, definitely.
mhm.
Um, a lot of people have problems with what I'm fixing to ask you. Um, if you if your audiences or our audiences for the general public can start a business, how would they go branding themselves? How do you suggest that they brand themselves?
Right. That's a question I get a lot too. That's where I spend a lot of my time just consulting on things like that with branding and how to get out there. So that's going to be my number one first suggestion is going to be to get everywhere, right? To get in front of as many people as possible. Now, how do you do that? Getting everywhere. Social media. Today's internet allows us to reach thousands, if not millions, at the push of a button, right? That's my number one suggestion. Just get active and get everywhere in your community with your customer base. Make sure you're talking to them all the time. That's in speaking engagements is a huge one. If you're comfortable enough, I definitely suggest going to a conference with your with a lot of your consumers and see if you can speak and talk about your services and talk about how to provide value for them. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, providing as much value for your customers as possible. Whether that's through speaking in person, going live on Facebook, just posting normal content, etc. Also, another thing as well that I highly suggest to give you a very clean and polished appearance, and it's going to help with that branding, is develop a theme, right? So I know my logo is it's a kind of a dark blue, almost purple color with silver, right? So all of my content as we start developing a brand for ourselves is going to be, that same consistent colors. You'll see those colors pretty much throughout. And the biggest thing, stay true to yourself, right? That's really what it comes down to. When you start your company, you develop a mission statement, some type of, line that basically defines who you are and what your values are. Make sure that you stay, consistent with that. And if you're true to yourself, it'll get yourself out there. Does that make sense?
Oh yes, definitely, definitely. So with exactly what you said earlier about adding value to people, is that how you define as not coming off salesy when you're when you're introducing your concepts to your consumers? How do you add the value and provide the concept without, for general public purposes, without coming off as a salesman?
Right, absolutely, and that's a big thing. Not coming off salesy, and that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed with a lot of these different platforms. A lot of these different businesses, rather, that they do come off very salesy. That's all they talk about. It's a big problem. The solution to it is you got to just talk to people. Think of it from. You have to realize that customers are thinking about themselves. They don't care about what sale you've got. They don't care about this or that. All they want to know is how is this going to benefit me, right? How's this going to benefit me? So you have to think along those terms and speaking along those terms as well to give value. So, perfect example. Let's say in the car business, right? When I was there, one of the things that I did, they got a lot of traction is I'll take instead of just trying to say, hey, I've got a great sale on this 2015 Kia Optima. Instead of doing that, I'm going to say, hey, this is why the Kia Optima is one of the best cars right now. It has great gas mileage for, if you're going to take those long trips. It's, got great space in the back. If you got kids, very good safety ratings for the kids. It looks good if you want to impress the ladies. Again, I'm speaking to them and, into what they want to hear, right? Into things that they care about. I think one of the biggest things, and that's huge that people kind of mess up is they try to sell their product or service and not the experience of it, right? And that's the big mistake. All this stuff right here, all the stuff that I do is essentially the same thing as selling, except it's online. So when you're in person, you don't want to sell your product or service. You want to sell the experience of owning it. And that's what you need to do as well online. So talk about the ownership and how it feels to own it and things like that. That's really how you're going to get yourself out there and how you're going to add. That's where you start to get your mind in that value mindset.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of work hand in hand with the law of attraction, right? Because
Absolutely.
we all vibrate at a different frequency, and people can actually sense it.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your opinion, as a fireman and car salesman, and a great entrepreneur, what's your opinion on the educational platforms that we provide today in our school systems to help with entrepreneurs? Is that something that they should do, is get an education in business before they start?
What you said, that you're getting into education before they start their own business?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me hit a couple of points. Let me address those. So first on the educational system and entrepreneurship, they don't talk about it. They don't. Everything I learned from, starting a business and trying to run a business, and I'm still learning that stuff now. It didn't come from the school system. They don't teach us how to do that type of stuff. It came from outside, from mentors that I've met along the way. They should. They absolutely should teach you how to own your own. I remember back in the day, the 50s and 60s, specifically even in the Black community, the number of entrepreneurs and business owners was much higher, and now, of course, it's dwindled down because we don't teach that. We don't talk about that as much. So there should be a lot more of that. In regards to what type of education that you need, and should all even talk about the money as well. You don't need much education to start a business. Honestly, all you need is to see a need out there, right? If you see a problem that's out there, and if you can think of a solution that's different from everybody else's, then you just go out there, you hit the ground running, you learn as much as you possibly can beforehand. But the ultimate thing is that you just want to start. One of my mentors always said that you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And what that says, of course, is that you just got to get out there, bro. Like, that's what it is. Don't think too long on it. Make a decision and run with it. That's kind of what we did. So, and that's been very successful for us.
Nice, nice. Uh,
Mm,
that's something that everyone needs to hear. Not many people know that. A couple of days ago, I was speaking to this lady at Starbucks. I was having a conversation, and she asked
right.
me, "What kind of business you're in?" I said, "Well, I do life insurance and consultant services." And she
Hmm.
asked, "Well, don't you need a college degree for that?" And I asked her, "Well, why do you think that?" And she said, "Well, that's what I was growing up. That's all I know is get a college education so I can start a business or have a great career." And then I
Right.
asked, um, "Well, it's all about copying from one person to the next, right? Well, if let's say your professor never had experience in starting a business or start a business, and all he has is a piece of paper with a certification on there saying that he should teach a business course, how
Absolutely.
do you respond to that, right?"
Hmm. Now, I'm in full agreement with you, man. That's one of the reasons why I enjoyed the military, and I think it had a huge effect on me doing this because in college, what typically happens is and I have this conversation all the time. You go in, you take all these courses that have nothing to do with what you want to do. When I did take some class in college, it was for I wanted to further my certifications in firefighting. Right, so I wanted to go get a I want to get certified as a paramedic for the civilian side of it, and I had to take all these different courses, like all this other stuff that had nothing to do with it. Why do I need to take a math class? Why do I need to take a English class when I just need to know how to save people at the end of the day? And I understand the thought process. Well, it's supposed to make you a more well-rounded individual, but a lot of that stuff is unnecessary and it wastes time. You know. So the military, of course, was why I was attracted to that was that if I wanted to be a medic, they taught me how to be a medic. Down and dirty, this is how you do it. And I don't agree with college at all. And again, and maybe not for it's just not for me. I'm not saying it's down for bad for everybody. For me personally, I know that I don't really like to sit and waste time learning stuff that I don't care about. If I want to know how to market a business, then I get out there and start reading up on that myself. I'm self-taught a lot of the stuff. So,
Amen to that.
hmm.
So why um so why are you in the marketing industry? Like what got you sparks and piqued interest?
So what got me started? I'll say that it's always been honestly, it wasn't it's been something I always just came back to, right? So even when I was as a firefighter, I had a second job that I worked with Metro and PCS, and I always would end up sliding finding myself in a position where I'm marketing and selling and kind of higher level thinking with getting the word out there, getting the brand and bringing people into the door. So I within the last year or so, I just said, it's no, why fight it? Let's just roll with it, see where it goes from there, and jump into it. And I left the car business to do it. So the main reason why I wanted to do this though is I want to help businesses get the word out. There's a lot of cool stuff around here. There's so much cool stuff. I have the pleasure of meeting with so many entrepreneurs that have these, whether it's a neat invention or a completely revolutionary business model. And it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. But the thing is, they don't know how to get the word out. Right. And of course, we all know that sales at the end of the day, that's what a business is about. You got to make sales to keep the doors open. So they can't do that because they're not in front of enough people. Right. So that's where I come in and I help them to get in front of the right people. And again, like I said earlier, it's unfortunate, but there's just not proper digital representation for a lot of these businesses out here. They have these very generic looking posts and things like that. And there's nothing that says this is who we are, nothing that really differentiates them from this business or this business. So that's why
Awesome.
I stepped up. Hmm.
Great, great, great. To let's say let's say for me that I'm a consumer or I'm somebody that's watching this video right now.
Right.
What has who has motivated you in in being an entrepreneur, and what can you tell the audience about who they should follow, what books they should read in order to help them get on the path of entrepreneurship?
Okay, so couple things. So who should they follow? Honestly, this is my thing, and it's going to be a little different because I've just had this mind shift myself most recently. Follow. I don't think you should really follow anybody. Honestly, I think you should just go after it yourself and kind of develop your own way of thinking. There's a lot of people when you follow someone, you kind of end up doing what they do, and that's not what you want. You want to just kind of develop your own thing. But if you want to follow somebody, Grant Cardone, he's absolutely huge, especially when it comes to sales. I'm a big fan of his. I used to watch his stuff every day, but now again, since I'm more leaning to my own understanding, I'm kind of more introspective. But if I do watch something that's Grant Cardone, there's a guy that I work with as well named Corey Brim, Corbrim. He's a good friend of mine, and I consider him a mentor as well. Huge, 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 huge. He is killing it on social media. Has actually inspired some of the stuff that I do for my own personal brand as well. Some books, they're going to be the ones I give you are the staples. Think and Grow Rich. That's the business Bible. One of my mentors, Casey McGraw, in the car business, he actually, he and I would sit and talk for a little bit about the what it's talking about and kind of how he's applying those principles in his own life. And then, I would meditate on those and how to apply those to mine. That's the number one. If you haven't read it yet and you're in business, you need to definitely read that first. Great book, and don't ever stop reading it. It's the business Bible. You're always going to be able to find different interpretations the more you go through it. Another book as well for mindset. I believe as good as Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Great book. Again, it's more so about the mindset of how to get your mind into that rich mentality, right? Successful mentality, wealthy mentality. This just kind of goes back to that teach a man to fish type deal, So you can either have some money given to you, which is cool, but if you teach someone how to actually go out there and attract money to them, and that's where the true wealth comes in. There's a lot more books I could go on for days and days about it, but those are the two I would suggest to get you started that you definitely should read.
Awesome, definitely, because the way that we think affects us.
Absolutely.
If we think that we're broke, we think that we're rich, we're rich. Because it doesn't matter what you think, whatever you think, you are right.
Mm-hmm.
So what, or how did you get your ideas and your concept for your marketing business? How did you get the idea and the concept to build a business model on it?
YouTube. YouTube. No. I'm joking. Well, I'm actually pretty serious. So, this goes back to the education side of things. There's so much information out there. That if I ever have a question about how I'm going to do something or how something can be done, you can Google it. Google is your best friend. Some of the stuff I've been introduced to in regards to my business model and how we do things has come from these different personalities on YouTube and these different bloggers. All the information's out there. I didn't have to pay for it, and it was free. And I studied it, implemented myself, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's just so much information that I can bring to myself and teach myself on what's right and what's wrong through personal experience and going from there. But that's how they got the kind of the concept of it, because again, I hadn't run a business this way before. Of course, we're very lean, very mobile. We're always on the go, very personal, and we're smaller right now, but we are growing very quickly. But that's where I got everything from. Is YouTube. Actually, also that's why I got the start of a lot of things. Of course, the different courses that I've taken as well from my guy Jordan Steen. Shouts out to him. He's a great resource if you're looking to get into this business. Let's see who else. Joe Soto is a great one as well. That we kind of modeled some stuff after. Ty Lopez, he has access to a good number of resources. That's what I'll say. I'm trying to think. Of course, Grant Cardone as well. Another one. But those are the when I think of how I built my business or how I got the ideas for how I want to do these different types of things, those would definitely have been the influencers, those guys.
Definitely, man, definitely. This is on a daily basis. people have trouble with this. How how do you market your business and exactly why you market it that way? Like how is it that people can hear or see you while you're reaching your ideas and concepts out there? How do you market that?
Gotcha. I get paid for this, Gary. I'm giving it away for free for y'all. It's I use an acronym. Well, first, before I'm gonna give some generic information about this, but it really depends on the industry. It really does. It's very specific to the industry and what you do and what your role is. When it comes down to it, though, it's all about the customer journey, right? That's what it really comes down to. How they find your business, or how they what their journey is throughout the sales cycle, how that goes, and that's really what's going to define, how you market yourself and how you get out there, right? But just a general one, general acronym I use for companies is SWS. Very simple, not hard to do. I actually did a video on it on a sales funnel the other day, a very light one, on how people can create a sales funnel to take advantage of their online presence and basically make money online, right? So the SWS, what it stands for is social and SEO. Next, the W is web page and landing pages, and the third is social, right? So just to break that down, what they'll need to do is you put out, and again, this is very light. If you have any questions, y'all can reach out to me so I can break this down more specifically. But they're going to put some ads out there right on Facebook, or some content that's interesting, or get a PPC ad, pay-per-click ad on Google, right? Some to get into that top portion on Google, little green ads there. So they put that stuff out there. Once it's there, people are going to click on it. You're going to get some traffic to it, right? So from there, it leads to a landing page or your website. And on your website or landing page, you must have a pixel, the Google tracker code, or whichever stuff you're using, but some way to track the visitors to that site. I definitely suggest having the Facebook pixel at a bare minimum on your site. Now, what that does is that gives you all the information that you need to know about your client. You know what I'm saying? Their age, their gender, where they stay, what their lifestyle is, when's the last time they purchased, what type of things do they purchase, and where they are in life in general. If they're married, if they have kids, they're pretty much everything you will want to know about your demographic. And once you've gotten that, Facebook will allow you to then send what's called retargeted ads to those consumers. So that's the last part of it, which is social again, and hitting them essentially with very specific ads. So let's say someone, Gary, for you, let's say someone responds to your Facebook page or your ad and goes to your website. Once they hit that there, you'll be able to see all the information you need. And then let's say they're a 30-year-old veteran who is interested in entrepreneurship, right? So what you can do is you create a video ad, which is specific to them. Hey, this is Gary, and we have the perfect solution for you here. Are you a 30-year-old veteran that is looking to start a business? I've got some great tips for you. And then you just send that type of content out to those specific type of people. And basically that's it. You just let it work itself, and your phone's going to start blowing up and ringing shortly after. Of course, this is a little more technical than that. Takes a little bit more to it, but with the testing and the breaking down, but that's how we do it. Now this is the thing. Everybody doesn't have the budget for that, right? And some people just don't want to spend that. So how do I personally market myself? Right now, since we're smaller, I use my personal Facebook page. It's very simple, very simple. I use that same, it's the same concepts with it. I post content that I feel that my customers are going to be interested in. And also with my personal Facebook page, the people that I add are my customers. So I'll all day, well, often not all day, but for a good portion of the day, I'll just reach out and search for folks who own businesses, and I'll add them. I'll go into the different, small business owner groups that are local and all that stuff, and I'll add them. And once and I'll try to, pre-qualify them and make sure that they're my target customer. And if they are, then I'll send them a friend request. They add me, and then I'll just start posting content. I'll start integrating myself into their personal lives by commenting on their pictures and giving words of encouragement when I can. And eventually the question is, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm digital marketing. That's what I do. And then that's when it starts. But it's called relationship selling, essentially. Something that Damien Boudreaux is really known for in the car business, and that's his concept actually. And I went to one of his seminars and learned it, and have been using that ever since.
Yes, most definitely. Building a relationship with your customer is a must, and also building rapport to
Hmm.
prospects is a great way to put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
And I know we're getting close to our end time here, but what's your goals for your company, for you, yourself, your team?
Okay, so my goals. I won't give the very near future. I'll just give the one I have at the end. Right. Well, not at the end, but 10 years from now. So I'm ambitious. You're right, Gary. I'm very, very ambitious. The goal is to have $500 million in profit a year. For my personal income. So how do we get that? It's going to be through a number of different ventures, from real estate to incubators to shoot, a whole list of different things. I want to say it's about 3,500, because we've done the math on it, and that's what we're going to. It's about 3,500 clients with 6,000 a month. About 50 businesses that we have internationally that we're a part of, specifically in Africa, because I think that's a market that is growing. It's been bad for a while over there for them, and they're now able to grow and do their own thing. So we definitely want to get in over there. Also getting into the sales training, sales speaking, and motivational speaking as well. So those are the kind of money makers that we want to hedge our bets on, as well as books, because I love reading. I love fantasy novels. So supporting certain authors and getting them out there and kind of publishing them and making money off over there. So
Yes, sir. You can
that's the
definitely,
goal.
you
Mhm.
know, always have, always have. Okay, so everyone, you guys can absolutely follow this video and get in touch with Mr. Derek Bumper over there, who, if you have any questions, he will definitely help you out. With GaryToday.com, that's my personal brand and blog that you can actually watch this video on later on today when I post it on there. You have definitely heard it first today from GaryToday.com. And to wrap it up, what we're doing today, Mr. Derek here does digital marketing, and me, for myself, I do life insurance and insurance consulting. So reach out
So
to us.
y'all,
Nice to meet
y'all
you,
can
Derek.
y'all can find me on just type in fb.me/DericSells. That's DericSells, and you'll be able to find my business out there. Also, you can go to DericSells.com, spelled the same way, DericSells.com, and or just reach out to me, add me on Facebook, Derek Bumper. I accept everybody, unless you're one of those fake model things. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't accept those. So if you're too pretty, send me a message. Let me know you're a real person. But
He'll definitely hit you up. For real.
yeah, they do.
All right, everybody. You have definitely heard it first today from Gary today. Again, I will thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. All right. Thank
Thanks,
you again
Gary, man. Have a great day.
for your time today.
All right. Was it the end?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right. You just hit stop broadcast. I think it's in the top right, I believe.